arthritis. The word itself evokes the feeling of pain. So I was very surprised to know that at an offline Kalaripaito correction session, my fellow student Shikha had rheumatoid arthritis. I got talking to her and invited her to this channel, and I expected this conversation to be about how she overcame this condition with a lot of alternate treatments and therapies. What I did not expect was that this would become a much deeper conversation about severe childhood trauma, emotional healing, and so much of grit and determination that Shikha has shown in order to provide the best parenting for her newborn baby daughter. So do watch this talk till the end. I am sure it will be a great inspiration for all of us to do our best in not letting our past stop us. Hey Shikha, great having you on this call. Can you introduce yourself a little bit for the viewers so they also get to know you?
Yeah, hi Priyanka. Thanks for having me on the call. Like, really grateful. It will be fun, I'm very sure. A lot of discussions. So, I'm a holistic health coach living in Bangalore, and I'm doing it from 4 years. Earlier, I was being a yoga instructor from 2000 since 2016. But in between that journey of 2016 to 2020, there was a lot of personal and other health issues, and which I coped up myself, and which further led me to this holistic health coach journey.
So what kind of yoga were you teaching? Can you give me some background? Hatha yoga.
Hatha yoga, yeah.
So was it
Pranayama, meditation. So I have been trained from Vyasa, Swami Vivekanand Yoga Anusandhan Kendra. It's one of the famous yoga universities of India.
And so you were doing Hatha yoga, which meant you would be very rigorous, and you would, in terms of fitness levels, you could be easily above average, really well.
Yeah, so we were doing, all kind of asanas for holdings, with the holdings and the breathing practices. That was quite good. But yes, in between I got diagnosed with autoimmune disorder, which is rheumatoid arthritis. So that gave a setback to my yoga instructor's journey.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit. I guess this has happened when you came to pregnancy.
Correct. So after delivery, not during the pregnancy. So my pregnancy was super smooth.
Oh.
So yeah, the pregnancy was like, as you see in the books and written in the books, like all hunky dory, okay, peaceful, lovely, enjoying as per the books. Doctor is completely, wow, it's great. And I delivered the baby on due date, normal delivery, all amazing. But I delivered my baby in US. So there it is not like Indian setup, okay? Like you have 10 nurses in the room. It's not like that there. It's like one nurse in the room, and until the baby's head comes out, the doctor doesn't come to the room.
Oh.
So I used my yoga and pranayam skills, and I told them, I'm not able to understand your instructions when to push and when not to push. You keep a mirror in front of me, I'll push myself. And I used the mirror to deliver the baby, and it happened nicely. She, healthy baby, everything was fine. But after 28 days of delivery, I started getting pains, and which was horrible suddenly. But I thought it is because of lack of sleep and, maybe new parenthood and being in US, doing all the work, I'm getting exhausted. So I thought I'll give it a day or two and I'll rest, it will be fine. But by third day, 28, 29, 30 days of having a baby, I was not able to sit on Western toilet. I was not able to hold a baby. I was not able to hold a spoon. I was not able to bend my fingers. I was not able to stand, sit like easily. It was a task to sit on Western toilet is what triggered me ki ye kya ho gaya? I need to check. I went to my doctor and she did some tests, and then RA came positive, and my CRP and ESR levels were all over the place. And doctor told me you need to go to rheumatologist. At that time also I was like, theek hai, jo bhi hai, theek ho jayega, we will see through it. You don't it doesn't go into your head. You are too busy with the house and with the kid and with your own health. So I was like, "ठीक हो जाएगा." But when I went to the rheumatologist, I don't want to reveal her name. She's in US, and she saw the blood reports, and she started explaining what is rheumatoid arthritis, and it's an autoimmune disorder. And she started showing pictures in her computer. It will be going forward because of this disease, and what medicines I need to take, and I need to stop feeding my 1 month old, and I need to start formula for her, which is so unreal for Indian moms, right? We don't start formula just after a month old baby, right? Not as a complete meal, like completely stopping the feed. So that was like I was like, What medicine is it?" Which so she said it has steroids in it. And because in US they tell everything upfront, they don't hide it. They have to tell if it is a steroid. So she told me it's a steroid, and I was still not aware of side effects of steroid, but I was like, I can't stop feeding my baby. She's just a month old, you know. That was my trigger. And then what further triggered me is when I told her I don't want to stop feeding, she said, "In that case, you will be given another medicine, and but you will be on the wheelchair in the next 5 years." So, and she started explaining too much in detail about the illness that I remember. I was all okay. I was listening. I was like, "ठीक है, देख लेंगे." But within 30 minutes, I was in depression. Sitting there, then and there, I walked out of her office and I couldn't see anything. I was blank, like as if the life has finished, you know. And I was like, for a few days, I was in that zone of shock, because I had a plan. I have taken international yoga certification and all, because I had a plan. After the baby, I'll start teaching yoga. After a month or two, I'll start taking 1 or 2 classes. So all that plan has gone to the bin, and I was in a state of shock, definitely, you know. So that state of shock stayed with me. I continued with feeding. I took the another medicine, alternative medicine, which can be taken with the feeding. But within few days, um, I was totally in depression. I would say I was getting suicidal thoughts. I was like, I don't know, what is the sense of living this life? And I don't want to see my baby like this. Keep the baby seeing the mom on the bed all the time, or you know, living such a life. So I was completely devastated. I started biting myself. I started hurting myself. I started hitting on the wall. But US walls are not made of brick, so it doesn't hurt much. They are made of wood. So luckily, it didn't hurt. But yes, I remember I used to scream. I used to scratch myself out of helplessness and all the pain, all that tough time. But then I thought I need to do something. As a yoga instructor, as a pass out from SVASA, I need to do something different. And I thought of taking some alternative treatment and coming to India for the treatment. After 3-4 months of medicine, I decided I'll not take allopathy for sure. So I stopped allopathy medicine. And in that time, I also realized one thing, that it is not only because of RA. It is also, in fact, the RA is also not because suddenly it happened. It happened because of all my traumatic childhood, is what I realized in these 3-4 months. Because after the baby, you suddenly think of a lot of your memories as a kid. As you become a new mom, you what a mother does, right? Whatever we have seen as a motherhood, we copy it, right? So how you have been brought up, you will brought up your kids the similar way, maybe 10-20% here and there, right? So I could see a lot of memories came back from the childhood, which was very, very traumatic. And that's when I realized the depression is coming from. So that, by that thought, we came to India for the treatment. And in the similar time zone, I got diagnosed with RA in May, and my husband also got diagnosed with stomach ulcers in May.
Okay.
So we
Yeah,
were
it's
both
a
in a
huge roller coaster.
bad state.
Yeah.
And it was severe. He lost 20 kgs of weight in a month because of ulcers. So it was, the ulcers were really severe. So we thought we both will go to India and seek some treatment from SVASA. We went to SVASA, but of course, the another challenge is to actually take the treatment with the baby who is 6 months.
Yeah.
So, she's not sleeping and she needs feeding every 2 hours and all that susu potty, So we couldn't actually make use of the treatment, I would say. That was another, that was so frustrating because you have come from all the way to US to India for the treatment. And no matter how much support we had, I had my mom and niece with me to help around, but there was no help. It wasn't working. I took Kalari Chikitsa treatment for 40 days non-stop during that duration after SVASA. It helped me at that time. But again, it was the depression hits you badly, right? So it doesn't let anything work on you. So that was another thing. But in this good thing which happened in these 4 months of treatment time in India, we went back to US after 4 months. That I met my mentor Mohan sir from SVASA, uh, and he told me that it has happened for a purpose, and it will make you find your purpose, and you will be healed through it. His one sentence stayed with me, and I thought, okay, we will see through it. But there was no direction, how we don't know how. So similarly, the Kalari Chikitsa person, he's Mr. Shivananda, he also told me that, it will be fine. And the whole medical world is saying it is not treatable, it is non-curable, it will be there for life. So you just don't know how it will be fine. But I took the treatment. We went back to US. I was back to square one. Then I thought, okay, let me try some other treatment. Then I started diet and supplements from a very famous nutritionist in Mumbai. She has worked with celebrities and all, and she has reversed her RA.
Oh.
So I thought this will help, and I took that treatment very religiously for 6 months. But after 6 months, I realized it's not working for me. It's not sustainable. The diet is being in US. My diet is different. My husband's diet is different. Kid needs a different diet, and plus that diet also was having its own side effects on me. So it was like too much to handle. So, but I took my learnings. There were some good parts in it. Okay, this is working for me, this is not working for me. But I didn't continued with that whole bunch of things which you told me. There was like 37 supplements a day, plus a lot of dietary restrictions. So after all of it, again back to square one. The pains were horrible. The depression was real. Fine. After one and so doing all this, it was almost a year with RA. And after that, I told my husband that I need therapy. I need counseling. In US, I told. I went to a therapist, and in US, therapy is very, very expensive. It's like $125 per session after the insurance payment. So that was like that was like a fire on pocket, But we thought if we need it, let us do it. I went to the therapy. In 3 to 4 sessions, I realized they just cannot relate to our Indian culture and Indian background and Indian issues, family issues. They're very, very different. They can't imagine whatever I was talking to. She wasn't able to comprehend and, make sense of it that it is real. So I stopped therapy. Then we had to come to India for some wedding, my brother in law's wedding, and I was again on painkillers. I used to eat 6 to 8 painkillers a day. So, but because we had to come to the wedding and all, so I thought let me continue for a time. Give me 1 second.
Obviously, you got the depression because of your situation being so bad all of a sudden. You were fit, and you were in the fitness zone. And then you're all of a sudden in this other zone. And as you're saying, already the pressure of having a baby in the house is there, and you are in US. So US is worst, right? You can't even keep that 24-hour maid and all. So
Correct.
obviously all of that was there. But what I was wondering is, during pregnancy, there's also this postpartum depression and all that stuff. Do you feel all of that was also playing? Or you were kind of saying that all of that was already in flow. That is why the RA happened.
Correct. So it RA didn't happen because of postpartum depression for sure. Okay. Yeah, but definitely there might be some triggers of some medicines or some nutritional issues, you know. But what I remember, what made me think that it is related to my childhood, the depression part, was I was severely, as a kid, I was not given nutritional food for 10 plus years. I lived my life on bread. And it's okay to know that if you are not financially good. But when you know that whole family, we are financially very good and there is everything at home, but you are not given them that to eat or allowed to eat, was the pain. So that thought that I have been not given any nutritious food from the age of 6 to 16, that came to my mind often at that time, that maybe lack of nutrition made me have this trigger of RA after delivery, because that is when your body is the weakest. Because no matter how much you have in your body, the baby, when you're pregnant, the brain automatically gives it all to the baby. If there is no calcium in a female's body during pregnancy, it will take the calcium from the bones. That's how a baby develops in a female's body. So I thought maybe I was not provided nutrition, and all that anger, all that pain, all that feeling of nutrition deprived. It's not like I'm not eating. Yeah, I'm wasting. I wanted to eat, but I was not allowed. And I am the one who is also making all some of the stuff at that age. You know, for example, as a kid, we do help our moms,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Ye bana diya, wo bana diya. But if you're not given that,
Oh my gosh.
so it was a joint family, and that is a all different story. Yeah. So I think
understand.
that told me that this is not postpartum depression. I was prepared for the baby. I have taken care of a lot of babies in my life. I've taken care of my nephew. I've taken care of my niece. I love babies at 0 to 12. That is my favorite age of kids. So I have literally brought them up flawlessly, effortlessly. For me, it's not difficult to stay awake for the baby. For me, it was never difficult for me, even to Sohana in my daughter's case. It was never difficult to feed her. I never got angry on, कि बच्चा सो नहीं रहा है, बच्चा ये नहीं कर रहा है, बच्चा. It only triggered me after the RA thing and after the depression thing.
No, I think what you said was so logical because you were already into Hatha Yoga and all. You know how the body functions to some extent. So I think what you just said, that your lack of nutrition and your bones may be weaker, and then that
Correct.
it's a very logical thing actually. So I guess you would know also, and you would know your body.
I never imagined, no matter what the family had, but we were only given breads in the breakfast and breads in the tiffin.
I cannot think it. I'm sorry. Because for an Indian family, exactly what you said. We cannot imagine this. If the parents will go hungry, but they'll feed the damn kids.
And there is we have a farmhouse. We are bringing
I
fruits from
can't.
there and we are bringing vegetables from there. There is
This
eight.
goes beyond the core element of Indianness, no? Forget your own kid, some other kid is in the house. वो domestic worker का बच्चा आता है तो हम उसको कुछ देते हैं.
Correct. So there were other kids in the house and everyone was fed well. So it was more of
Right.
me
Yes.
and my mom who were not given
Oh my
the
God.
food. So, and I, plus I have also seen my mom's health getting, deteriorated over the years because of those 10, 12 years. She got varicose veins, she got um, hemorrhoids, she got her uterus removed, she got gallbladder stone, she got what I said, varicose veins, I told, right? Yeah. So I could see the deterioration in her also because of the. Imagine 10 years of not getting the nutritious food.
It's very, very hard to take, to be honest.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
I was like, especially when you have a baby, you know, you will feed the baby no matter what. Imagine I was told not to feed the baby and take the medicine.
Yeah.
But no way I could take that decision, even if it means my health going down.
So what did
I
you do finally? Did you feed the baby or not?
I
You were
I
taking.
fed I
You
fed
fed.
I fed her for 20 plus months.
Oh, so you refused to take the steroid medicines. You took the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was I was like, I won't let my daughter's health ruin because of the nutritional deficiency. So that all thing, being me not having nutritious food and now telling not to feed my daughter, I don't want to continue with that loop for sure.
Okay, so then that's probably your pain and all didn't go because you did not take the strong medicines, and that's when you had the difficulties massively. As you were saying, you. Yeah.
It was bad. I remember when we were coming to India when Sohana was 6 months for the treatment we planned to come,
Yeah.
right? It was September 2017. And in the flight, she didn't sleep because it was her first flight and kids get uncomfortable with such long flights, right? So she couldn't sleep all the way. And I was so much in pain that I was telling my husband, okay, I will do suicide after we reach. Okay, you take care of the baby. And I'm consciously explaining him and logically telling him why I need to do it. If I think back now, I feel like how I said that and why I said that and how easily that is the best thing.
Oh my God.
As if someone is planning it in a family. It was that, and even he was not in the best state of his health, right? He was also having ulcers. So for him also it might be difficult to listen all that, and but time changes.
Wow, that is a very, very hard, at least 1 year, I think. And then, so coming back, I think you came for the marriage.
I came for the marriage. I was managing, my pains were real bad. I was managing with painkillers. I was still in depression because the therapy wasn't working there, right? But what happened in the flight when we were coming? In the flight, my hands, out of the pain, suddenly got deformed. They fell like ऐसे हो गया था. हाथ ऐसे रहते हैं ना. Normally our hands are in our control, but it fell like this, and it didn't open up. And my husband got so scared that he got a panic attack during the flight. And but at that moment, I decided we need to shift to India.
Yeah.
This isn't worth it for sure. And I told him within once he recovered from the panic attack, and I took my painkillers, and my hand got straight. I remember I took 800 mg of painkiller. I took 4 painkillers together, and after that, and my hands are deformed. I have a baby who is 1.9 1 year 9 months. It is not easy to carry the baby. I didn't get extra seat. Flight is full, and that my husband got panic attack, and the air hostess said, give him cold drink. I said, no, you give me salt and sugar. I'll give him that namak chini ka pani. He'll be fine. Cold drink has CO2, right? We can't give it during the panic attack. You don't know how it will impact. So that's how we worked. And I told him that we need to shift to India. I'll stay back after the marriage. You go come back to US, find another job, wrap up the house, whatever house we had, and we need to move back. And so that was the decision taken in flight, and I stayed with it. I think that was one of the best decisions I had.
Yeah.
And of course, Ajay had some other options also in mind. He said, okay, we will move to Canada. I said, I'm not going anywhere. You can go to Canada, come back, settle there for 6 months, whatever you feel like. But I am not going anywhere. I need to work on myself, is what I told him. By that time, so my daughter was born March 2017. March end. May, I was already with RA. Ajay was already with ulcers. By and we shifted to India by 2019. So 2 years of all this drama, 1.5 year, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to stay there for sure. And coming back to India, I stayed with my families because he was there and I needed support. And then when he came back, we shifted to Bangalore again. That was in May 2019, I remember. But even during that time, because when you are in India, everyone has a treatment for you, right?
That is true. But I
That is
think, yeah, just getting
another.
that Aya and stuff would have been so helpful, no?
Yeah, so but I didn't had that for 4 months. January I shifted for the marriage, right? Feb, March, April, May, I was with my families. So with my families, okay, let us go to this doctor, let us go to this
Yeah.
doctor, okay, I was like, okay. And I used to say yes to everything because
Yeah.
I'm a very faithful person. When I enter into anything, I give it my full faith, you know. So I'm like, let me try, okay. So I remember I took there was this local vad, and he gave me some pudia medicine, and it didn't work. Then I went to a very big Ayurvedic hospital in Jaipur, and that doctor gave me medicines, and that was a horrible experience. I must share. We feel that Ayurvedic is safe. That is true if it is right Ayurvedic. But on the name of Ayurveda, so much of business is running all over the world that he gave me some medicines, okay, which was made there. Made there in the sense that powder composition is being made there. I took that medicines as I had a full faith on everything which I do, okay, without any question. But when I started taking these medicines 2, 3 months later, my I was not feeling the pain, but my stiffness got over till my jaws. I couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't speak. I couldn't swallow. And that's when I told my husband that there are steroids in this. And I'm like, I'm gonna call this doctor and ask. I called their office and asked them, I want to know if there are any steroids in the medicines you have given me. And I sent the pictures of the composition of. We don't know the Ayurvedic names, right? What is what, and you don't know. They have made it at their place. They have written 10 medicines at your paper. They might have added something else. So I was like, I feel there are steroids in the medicine. They blocked my number.
Oh gosh.
And from that day, I stopped the medicines. And the medicines were, you know, it was 20K per month. But I stopped the medicines and I was devastated. Kya abhi kya, matlab, what to, sometimes you just get tired of doing all of it, and how people misuse the trust. He should have told me that he's adding steroid, you know. Then I would have made a choice. I want to take it or not. But then I found another. Now I thought, okay, let me try something else. I found a homeopathy. I took her medicines. I started gaining weight. आई टोल्ड हर इसमें स्टेरॉइड है क्या उसने बोला थोड़ा सा देना पड़ेगा आपको इतना दर्द है बट शी वाज बीइंग जेन्युइन शी वाज बीइंग शी वांटेड टू हील मी आई सेड देखो ये तो नहीं काम कर रहा है इससे कोई फायदा नहीं हो रहा है ये तो मैं नहीं ले रही but because she honestly spoke to me I sat there in her clinic and I told I'm not going home until you tell me any other alternative treatment. I'm not going to take your homeopathy medicine but give me some other treatment. That was so sweet of her. She immediately called some people. I remember it was 9:30. She wanted to go home and I holded on her. I didn't let her close her clinic and I was crying and all over them and telling her that I don't want homeopathy. Give me something. She said, okay, you join Zumba. You might feel good. I went to one Zumba class. I'm like, नहीं होगा. I can't move my body. कुछ और दो तो फिर she called someone she thought of someone and she called that person कि okay this is the patient's situation should I send they told yes send and that was a acupressure specialist as I am right with full faith and conviction and trust I went to this person acupressure person and that started changing my life. I was like, इसमें कोई रिस्क नहीं है इसमें कुछ दवाई अंदर डालना नहीं है they will press some points but he told me the uncle the who did the checkup he's a very senior person from in Bangalore itself and he said कि पहले pain increase होगा and my pain was already horrible that his location was 400 meters from my place and I couldn't walk. My husband used to take me in the on the scooty or something. So I said, okay, I'm in, no matter how much the pain increases. And I remember they used to touch me like this, and I used to scream and cry, and everyone used to be scared कि भैया इसको मत touch करना. There were 3 to 4 therapists there, but there was only I used to let only one person touch my body and not anyone else. कि भैया it pains. I used to like everyone used to क्योंकि दिखने में there is no weight and all इसको क्या दिक्कत है you know there is nothing so but within 10 days the pain reduced by 30% and that was magical no other treatment could do that so I was like uncle but I don't understand how it worked and why it worked I want to understand the science behind it so he said okay you join the course now you learn I was like, okay, I will learn. But I said, wait after some days because I want the pain to reduce it. In a month, I was able to walk. I was able to, I was feeling so good. That was the magical experience after 2.5 years of struggle. And so that's where the physical pain started reducing.
Wow, thank God, finally.
Finally.
Yeah.
Light at the end of the tunnel, right?
I swear.
That was the physical health part. Depression was still need to be sorted and still need to be
No,
worked
but this
upon.
was a big piece of the puzzle, right? Like, this had to go.
Oh my god, that was like and when I joined his course and started understanding the theory of acupressure and the science behind it, that made so much sense to me that the treatment worked even faster for me. Because otherwise we feel कि how will it work, why will it work, 4 दिन work किया है, 5th day it is increasing. When I understand the whole science, I could relate to it more, trust it more. That was the beauty of it.
But I must say, this was very crazy roller coaster because I'm just thinking back to all my cousins who had kids. Forget US की तो बात ही मत करो. You are talking about India. You are talking about having one maid to do housework, one ayah who comes at least for 3-4 hours to do that oil massage and all that stuff for the baby.
Yeah, you know, with RA, I did that to my daughter also. all the oil massage.
And then you talk about a grandparent who is there. 3 people are there with them. I cannot imagine. Not only are you in US, but you both are in such shape, you and your husband.
That was miserable time. In US we have carpets in home because it's too cold, right? And we were in Chicago, the coldest place. And that year it was colder than the North Pole.
Gosh.
It was minus 50. I remember it was minus 50
Oh my gosh.
on the day of we had flight, right? 26th Jan, we had flight from US to India, and the flight couldn't fly. We were sitting in the flight, and flight couldn't fly because of the sudden snowstorm, and it was colder than the North Pole.
Oh my gosh.
So,
It's a lot. It's really, I think it's so amazing. Not only did you all go through, but you made so many choices which were so pro baby, which is insane. I mean, it's awesomely insane. I think this is the thing, right? People who go through some really harsh times, some of them come out so much stronger and able to ensure that your kid or other people will not go through this. It is so powerful.
that was my that was my aim. Ki by the time my daughter gets, to the age where she understands things, she won't see me with Are. She will never know that her mother was ever bedridden. That was my goal. And in this time, of course, there was depressing because of the depression and suicidal and all of it. But with Mohan sir's guidance throughout the process, okay, I came to the point that when I started feeling and realizing and affirming that if there is no cure for RA, God has to create one to heal me.
Wow.
No matter what.
Yeah.
So I think that affirmation, that manifestation helped me go strong.
Yeah, great. So you had your start. One thing I wanted to highlight here is this bit about when you started your acupressure treatment, they told you your pain will increase. So that is a thing because it didn't happen to me, but that other story I also shared of Spurti, that's how the Kalari series started on my channel because Spurti had some unexplained back issues and finally none of the other natural therapies worked and Kalari is what worked. But the point is when she also took a naturopathy treatment earlier, they said pain will increase initially. And so for me at the time, I was like, wait a second, is that really? Because I have also had other people have seen, because that's a warning they all give that pain will increase initially. And so that patient is not able to take that judgment. They don't know whether it's getting worse or it's actually going to improve later. Because it actually happened to a friend of mine, some random, I think she had some menopausal issues going on. So she went to this some massage fellow and he was like, pain will increase initially, but she went through horrible pain. Then I was like, what rubbish pain will increase? Some solution has to come, no? How much can you tolerate the pain will increase? So share some light, no? Like you were told pain will increase, but then you felt improvement within how much time? Like 15 days?
6 days.
6 days.
5 days the pain increased horribly. Fifth day I wasn't able to go to the center. My husband literally took me to the center. But 6th day I walked to the center. Yeah, I still remember it very clearly that 5 days the pain was like, but I was extreme faithful to the treatment.
But if you had to tell now, like if somebody goes through similar and pain is increasing, how much time would you give? Max 10 days? I feel like.
No. It depends on the issue. It depends on the trauma. It depends on how much baggage you are carrying. So if there is just before you, I had a call. Okay, I have a client in US, and we were having a call. So she has huge childhood trauma. Like we can't measure it. And so the her if she goes into the deeper kind of therapies, her pain will be lasting for 3 months maybe. And I have today I just warned her that your physical pains will gonna increase, but I'm sure by August you will be a different person. Because once the pain will increase for 3 to 4 months, then it will start reducing. It will take another 3 4 months. That was the timeline because of what I know of her, right? And every patient is different. For some, the timeline can be less, for some, the timeline can be more. So for me, the pain increased ever since till October 2019. Remember, I told you the jaw thing started getting blocked, and it was horrible. But November, December, January 2009, November, December 19, and January of 2020 changed me so much that February 2020 I started teaching yoga again. So sometimes all the pain that you bear and ultimately still working on your pain, you get to see that light. You come out of that tunnel. But you need to understand and listen to your body very, very clearly. You need to, if I would have continued some other treatments which were not working for me, then it would have gotten worse, right? So, but I listened to my body every time. When my body rejected the Titan supplement treatment, I listened. When my body rejected the Ayurvedic treatment, I listened. When my body rejected the homeopathy treatment, I listened. So that is very important. You cannot just trust the treatment. You also need to listen your body.
And it's not just in terms of increasing pain, because pain will increase even for the right treatment.
Even for the right and even for the wrong.
Yes.
You need to know what is wrong and right for you. And there is no judgment, okay, this worked for you and this should work for me. No, every human being is different and their way of coming out of any illness or any trauma is different.
Yes.
That is very important. And how I listen to my body, even in the worst days, right? Even in the depressive states or even in the, is what helped me sail through it. And that is what I teach now. That is my vision, to connect people with their own self, to listen to themselves, to hear themselves, to see themselves, so that you are not running on auto mode or some other outside energy is not running you.
So what do you do currently? Can you tell a little bit?
Yeah. So we do emotional healing, a lot of emotional healing. So what we believe in, that whatever we experiences we have in our life, whatever environment we live in, whatever beliefs we are told, ऐसा करोगे तो ऐसा हो जाएगा, they all get stored in our body. Every time you get hurt, you feel it deeply, it gets stored in your body. Every time you get angry on something, it gets stored in the body, and slowly it amplifies, right? It will multiply, and that converts into disease. So we uh, don't only work on disease. For disease, I recommend people to go for acupressure or kalari chikitsa or yoga, pranayam, meditation. I have a lot of contacts in alternative healing therapy throughout. So plus whatever. But more than that, that is a surface level treatment. For example, I took acupressure for my physical pain. But apart from that, you also need to work on your emotional health, from where the anger is building up, from where the resentment is building up, from where the disappointment is building up, from where the criticism is building up, guilt, lot of such emotions. Okay, so we go dig deeper into it and solve them. That is what I do. Okay, it and we do it with a lot of other, a lot of modalities we use to do it. A lot of written activities, a lot of journaling, a lot of meditations, a lot of other stuff. Plus, you also need to work on your spiritual health. spiritual area.
Mm.
You also need to work on your mental health. You also need to work on what do you want in your life. How do you want, what is something which where you're not feeling the fulfillment, and where
Mm.
will you get that? So we need to work on all the elements together to solve the core issue. And I also work on chakra healing, chakra balancing, because that is also a part of this, right?
So so then just drawing that circle, I think your healing started with the acupressure treatment, which worked, and then
Physical.
yeah,
And I
and
started counseling,
okay.
and I was diagnosed with CPTSD, that is a complex post traumatic disorder.
Mm.
Plus, there were OCDs. Plus, there was depression. Plus, a lot of
Mm.
other issues. And the my I just love my psychologist, who was my counselor. Okay, and but seeing the pain and seeing the trauma, she also told me I should take some medicines from the psychiatrist. I said, no matter what, I'm not gonna take any medicine. You need to work with me.
Mm.
And she worked with me like extensively. I worked on my mental health religiously,
Mm.
with all, like having a daughter, no matter it's India or US, having a daughter at home, having a house, having maids, having your own physical health. It's
Mm.
not easy, but that was my priority back then.
Mm.
I worked on, I did my homework religiously. उसने बोला ये करना है, whatever it is.
Mm.
So I worked on my emotional health, I worked on my mental health, and after all three of this, I started getting better. I started teaching yoga. That's where I started getting the feeling that I can teach yoga again.
Yeah, you're back to in
I'm
some
back.
way.
That was like, I still remember I launched myself on 13th of Feb. So
Okay.
I'll be completing 4 years soon. So, and within a day, I got the client. It was so nice. So I started teaching yoga, and while teaching, I went through a holistic health coach certification, to make understanding of all of it. But more than that, it was a lot of self work and a lot of research, a lot of book reading. So I don't just, people read books and then they think, ha, achhi hai, feel good. I don't do like that. I'm a very deep reader. I make notes of each book,
Mm.
and I make sure I implement if I've learned something from the book. And that is what I'm teaching in my book reading sessions. How to read a book, how to make use of it,
Mm.
how to implement it, just not read it for the sake of
Mm.
reading. So we are also launching our next book reading. We have done 2 book readings, and everyone is so happy with the book readings and they want to continue.
Mm.
So that is how I want to build a community with the book reading thing. You
Mm.
know, slowly a lot of people can join in. It's a group book reading session. It's a feel good factor with a lot of workings on yourself rather than going one on one.
It's a great idea. So,
But yes, that post traumatic stress disorder was at a very, very deep level. It took a long time to get over it.
obviously, because you also had your childhood trauma and stuff, right? So I guess all of that you would have to deal with together only.
Yeah, that was the main part to heal through.
Yeah.
Like how I felt as a kid. I felt a waste. I felt like, why I'm born as a kid. I
Mm.
mean, ऐसे ही होता है ना, कोई पैदा हुआ मर गया, कोई मतलब नहीं है, वैसा फील होता कि even if I die,
Mm.
at that time I used to feel that as a kid, that even if I die, it doesn't matter to anyone. Anyways, I don't, you know, I'm not of any service.
Mm.
I'm just a liability. I'm not an asset. But now I know how important asset I am.
That's wonderful. So right now, how is what's happening? I guess your own healing journey is still going on, correct? Because you also joined Kalaripaito, so
Yeah, I joined Kalaripayat because I wanted to level up my,
level up, yeah. Which is
I was,
brilliant, right? From there, you are now leveling up.
yeah.
So I think we've covered really well. You want to say anything at the ending?
Cute thing over here if I want to show it. Wait, I'll just rotate the laptop to explain you my future plan. One second. Can you see this? I know it's very,
Yeah, we can. There's a revolution in large and there's a fish.
so there is a typical school level drawing, but that's what I know. So it doesn't matter, right? And the vision is what matters. One second. Yeah. So this is my vision for long term. 30 years down the line, I'm sure I'll achieve it. And I already see a lot of things happening in this direction. The point is that one thing I want to change is that we leave a lot of things that it is genetic, which is not true. Genetic are lifestyles, genetic are food habits. And if we change that, the diseases won't be genetic for sure. Okay. The body is very smart. The DNAs take the best out of the body from mom and dad. So only the habits and culture, all that is genetic. And if something is negative out there, we need to work on it. So we are our own and we need to choose and grow. What else I feel is the new medical science should include food, healthy, clean, work on mental health, mind, and emotional health. Plus, a lot of alternative therapies are there, like, which are non medicinal. And that should be the base of medical science, is what is my intent. Plus, how we can do it is one is chakra. So I want to spread a word around the world about chakra balancing and how our chakras
Those
work
are the
along.
circles, right? That you are now
Yeah,
talking about, yeah, chakras.
yes. And if we change our own self, we can definitely change the future, right? Because we will guide the kids from there. And I definitely want to tell people that we can reverse the diseases, and you know we can have some schools which teach all this rather than just the English, math, science. We need to teach kids how to live life happily, how to be happy in life, how to find the purpose, how to make your passion your work.
Great. Yeah, I am very happy that more and more such people. We need
Yeah,
it. No, we need that integration. We need integration of modern
one
science with
person can't
alternative.
change the world, right?
Yes,
So we, but I see a lot of people doing this lately,
which is great. We need
which
it.
is amazing,
Yeah.
which is so amazing. So there are a lot of people I connect throughout Bangalore who are in alternative therapy, who are into deeper level of emotional healing through, I would like to name some of the treatments which I have taken. I've taken few names, but apart from that, in my mental health and emotional health journey, apart from counseling, I have taken hypnotherapy, I've taken osteopathy, I've taken somatic experiencing, craniosacral, and what else? Lots of healing therapies are there, non-medicinal healing therapies which can change how you feel in an hour. Chakra balancing is one of the, even including color therapy, sound therapy, and what else is there? Gemstones, crystals, and how all of it plays a role. So ancient history was really rich.
Yeah, I swear it. Even I keep delving into it and I'm like, oh my God, so many layers, no? Just the culture also, like if you're talking about color therapy and all, I'm sure so many cultural nuances that are there where color therapy gets involved, sound therapy gets involved.
This day you should wear this day
Yes,
you should
yes.
eat this day you should donate this, is
Mm.
all the ways of keeping your chakra balanced.
Mm.
Very, very powerful. So, yes, it's magical. And I just wish and hope that a lot of people discover it and get healed and not stay in the loop of genetic hai, chalta
Yes,
rahega,
yes.
keep on taking the medicines. I really feel it's our responsibility to change ourselves and then have a better future, right? Otherwise, the bodies are getting weakened, the lifestyles are getting poorer, no matter how much money we have.
No, exactly. What has happened, this I was speaking to this person who was actually part of the Ayush team, one IAS officer. He told exactly even the government is focusing on we need to increase the house health, house health quotient. What was happening earlier is these grandmother remedies were there and they were fine for that generation and that time. Now the
Correct.
time is completely different and those remedies may or may not work because the science behind it is forgotten.
And the chemicals are different, right? In the
Yeah.
food, in the everywhere. So much of complications with all the why all the allergies have increased lately
Yeah.
because of so much preservatives and all the stuff. So
We need
I
we
think
need these
basic start
alternative.
would be say no to packaged food. Simple, one thing which we can all start with. Carry your fruits, right? It's if you don't want to carry the food, like cooked food and all,
It's
carry
better
fruit.
also for ecology, not just your health, because fruits improves tree-based agriculture, which is a lot part of sustainable agriculture.
Exactly, soil health and all.
Soil health packaged anyway creates all that plastic waste and all that stuff. So it's not just, it's a very, very
Well,
holistic solution.
imagine a food staying on the shelf for 2 years and how long it will last in your body. I don't know. I just can't guess it. इससे अच्छा है कि वो बाजार में जाके फ्रेश कुछ खा लिया तुमने. That is still
Yes,
better than the packaged food.
yes, yes. And that's when we come to, I feel that India actually has a lot to offer in terms of healthier
India
lifestyle.
could be next superpower for
Yeah, that's
sure.
what I feel. Getting a
Like
idli and the nearby Udupi shop is actually so nice compared to any packaged thing
people
we
like
could do at home.
people like us, right? And there are lots of people who are working either in food or mental health, emotional health,
Mm.
physical health, right? Different kind of healing modalities. I'm sure if we unite, right,
Mm.
we can definitely make a mark
Mm.
at a global level.
Definitely.
So that's the aim.